I hope my voice is audible and the screen I presented is visible to everyone. Hello. Uh, If anyone having problem in seeing the screen or hearing my voice, please do stop me or text in this meet, okay? Please do stop me if you are not audible. Sorry, if I am not audible to you, please stop me at that time. Now I'll continue with whatever I have left yesterday. So yesterday's class in yesterday's session we were discussing about the nested if statement. Like if it is was the same, if it is was the username was correct, it goes to check for the password, and if the password is correct, it gives login successful. And if username was correct and password is wrong, it says username was correct, password is wrong. So I'll run the statement once again. Well, let's take, yeah, now you can see username was correct and password is wrong, because password what I initiated was like 1234, and here in the condition it is asking for 1235. If it is was true, if I look now, username was correct, password is wrong. If I make the password correct, then it should show me like login was successful. So here one more thing, as I said before, in the operators I told you guys about the logical operators. This is like nested if statement. Now using the if statement, I'll use the logical operators to get the output. So I'll create a new class. This new class, I'll give the example as logical operators. I'll select public static void main. So here is the example I'm going to type, and I'll explain how the logical operators work. So this is the class, and here I will declare a variable of string data type as username, here too username, and I'll give it as admin, and I'll end it with a semicolon, and I'll give the password as integer data type and pass, and that is equals to 1234. So the same example I did it different, because here in the back we have did for nested if. Now what I'm going to do is for logic. I'm using the logical operators. So here this is the statement I have assigned. So username is admin, password is 1234. Now I'll use the if condition, and I'll have one else. So this is the syntax you have to do. Right now you are getting the error because of condition is not initialized yet. Look here, you have made one condition in the for the user and the second condition for the password, and you have inserted the if condition inside this. There will be a condition where you have to you have to check the both. At that time you will be using logical operators. So here I'll be using logical operators. So in the condition I'll ask the username equals to admin. Look here in the same condition I won't take another if inside it for the password. Look, this if else I won't be taking here. I'll be asking here another condition using AND operator. You have to use it twice. So this is the AND operator, and I'll check pass is equals to 1234, and if it is true I want this statement to be returned. Look, it is giving me error because this operator is for assigning. If you use it twice, it is comparing whether pass was equal to 1234. Now I'll print out the statement like if it is correct, login successful. If it is wrong, I need like invalid credentials. Now I'll run this file. Look, you're able to see login successful. Now what if the username was wrong? I'll give it as admin. Password is correct but username is wrong. We shall see what output we'll be getting. Well, it states invalid credentials. Now I'll make the username correct and I will make a mistake in the password. I'll make it as 7. Now I'll run it. Yeah, it is still saying invalid credentials because the AND operator always checks for both the conditions. Here you have the nested if. If it is true, it goes for the second if which is inside it. But here, using this logical operator, both the statements should be true. Only if both are true, it gives the truth statement, which is the first one. If any one is wrong out of these two, you will get like the else condition, which is of false, invalid credentials. I'll make this as 1 2 3 4 itself. Yeah, it is admin and the password is 1 2 3 4. Now I'll run it. It is telling me login successful. So this is about the AND operator, which is like you can give multiple conditions inside a single if and you can check, and if both are correct you will get the truth statement, and if one is false you will get the false statement. Now what is about the OR operator? OR operator is nothing but the key which is above your enter key. You have to type shift and click that which is above the slash. So this is the OR operator. Look, what happens here in the OR operator is that it checks either one of the condition is true, it gives login successful. Look, now both are correct. I'll run the Java application. Login successful. Now I'll change this admin to admin. Now if I run it, it still gives me login successful. It is giving me login successful because the password was correct. Even though the username is wrong, it checks the condition password is correct. So it is giving me login successful. Now what if username was correct and password was wrong? I'll run it now. It is still able to give me login successful because username was correct. It doesn't check for the password. If one is correct, this OR operator gives this statement which is for the true condition. So for OR operator is that now I'll make both wrong. I'll make this as AD and I'll give the password 12. Now if I run it, it will say invalid credentials. So the difference between AND operator and OR operator is that for AND operator, both the conditions must be true. If one of the condition is false, like here, look here, if this is true, AND operator will give true statement. If either one is false, AND operator gives invalid credentials. But for the OR operator, it's a different scenario where only one condition, if it is true, login successful, you will able to get. So this is about the AND operator and OR operator, where you can use these operators based on your application requirement. Suppose if you have an application and if you have two conditions, and if the user is okay with one condition, you can use OR operator at that time. So this is the condition, and if you want your application to look good and if you want to show what is wrong, if you want to show username was correct and password is wrong, you can use nested if. So these conditions can be used based on your requirement for your applications. It is completely on you and it is completely based on the requirement. So that day I told you about the and OR logical can be known only if you know about the if statement. As in yesterday's class I continued with the if else statement. Now you got to know about the logical operators. So moving on, we have another one which is like switch statement. It is like of same if and if else if, but little bit of different. So I'll make switch example class. Create public static void main. So this is the switch example. So how to create the switch example is that, as you guys know about the if else if, all these statements, now we will go for the switch. And even switch is also depend upon your requirement. Like you can always use if else and if else if, or switch. And switch case scenario, how it is done, I'll show now. I'll start with the index. It's like switch. So this is the syntax, switch case. Just a second, guys. So this is the syntax for the switch. So how to use it? Now I will declare a variable as int, and I'll give a day that is equals to 6. So how many days are in a week? There are totally 7 days in a week. So you have, particular conditions. There are multiple conditions, but you know already that there are 7 days. Like you have 7 conditions. If it is for the first day of the week, it will be for Sunday, and the second day of the week will be the Monday. So we shall go here and we shall pass this condition like day. So if this day I have passed here variable, means it is carrying the value of 6. 6 has been assigned to the day. And here how we are able to do this is that here there is no if or else if, all this we will be using case. Look, it can be seen in a different color because the keyword, it is known as case, and we will be doing it like case 1 colon, and whatever we want to print out, we will be printing out here. Like whatever the thing you want to do, you can do here. For now I'm using print statement, but in your application, if you want to do some logic, you can use your logic or business code here. For now, just know that if it is case 1, I am printing out. Instead of printing out, if you want some logic to happen in case 1, you can give it out. So for the case 1, I'll give the first day of the week as Sunday. Sunday is the first day of the week. So as you are used to weekend as Saturday and Sunday, we shall change it here like this is the normal one. Sunday is the first day of the week. So here I'll make this switch case, and I'll make the statement as break. I'll tell you why I'm using break. So this is the break. So this is the syntax for switch. And how many conditions you have, like like 7 you have, 7 days in a week, you can have 7 cases here. So for now I'll copy paste the 7 cases here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So I have 7 cases. I'm getting error because you cannot have multiple same cases. So I'll make this as second case, which is like second day of the week is Monday. I'll make it as 3. You can have any number of cases based on your condition. Suppose if it is for a year, you are taking like first month of the year January, you can have 12 cases. Like that you can have multiple cases based on your requirement. I'll make it as Tuesday. I'll make this as 4. I'll make this as Wednesday. This as 5. Thursday. Friday. The last day of the week is Saturday. So this was the switch syntax. Now the day is 6. So the switch case will go for the case 6 and gives me the value Friday. Look, if I run this code, Look, now you are able to see the Friday. So what if I give the value here as first day of the week? This is the first day. I should pull out Sunday. If I run it, look, you are able to get the value as Sunday. Now you have to go through this like that. Switch day. Here you are giving your value, like whatever you want to enter. Like suppose if you have 100 cases, out of that 100, one particular you want to pull out, that has been assigned to this variable, and you have passed this variable inside the switch. So this variable carries the value from 1 to 100, and you have 100 cases. The condition is that whatever the value assigned to this variable, and this variable is inside the switch will be able to pull out that particular case number. It is able to pull out. So I'll make this as a math random. So that value will keeps on changing. First I will get typecasting. I'll change it like, because it will come of float math dot random. So as I said, if you want that particular value 7, you have to give 8. If you give 7, you cannot pull out the 7. It will be only for 6. If you want 7, the whole number randomly, you have to multiply it by 8. So I'll print it out like the day 2. So whatever the value day is initialized, I should know that, right? So that value is passed here, and that case number has been shown here. So I'll run it now. Look here, 5. The 5th day of the week is Thursday. You can check here. Case 5 is Thursday. Now again, I'll refresh. 3. So case 3 is Tuesday. 3rd day of the week is Tuesday. You can do it same for the requirement, like you can have n number of cases. So the difference between here, between the if else if, and here is that for if else if and else, you cannot write all these 100 lines there, but you can have 100 cases here, and that one particular case will be pulled out. And here this is the syntax, which case 1, and for case 1 you need this logic. Now I'm asking for a print statement. Why I'm using break keyword? Look, break keyword is that whenever the condition is met, now the day is 3, condition was 3, so it met. So after this condition is met, it should break. If you have not given this break statement, then even though you have got the output as 3, it goes for all the remaining statements. Look, now I'll comment it out every break keyword, like I'll remove, so that you'll get to know. If I comment it out, you'll be still able to see that break keyword, and you'll have confusion. Look, now you can remove this break, and what happens to your condition, then you will know why you have to use the break keyword. Look, I have removed the break keyword. Now I'll run my application. Look, now I have got the math random value 4. So for 4 I got Wednesday. I got 4, I got Wednesday, but after Wednesday it is still showing me what comes after, because I have not mentioned break. Whenever the condition is met, I want it to be stopped there. To stop that, we will be using break keyword. Look, now 4 is the Wednesday. After Wednesday we got these 3 days. Now again if I run, now I got 6, which will be the Friday. After that we have Saturday, so we got Saturday. So it is important always for you, so it will meet the condition. So after the condition is met, whatever the case is left, it will display if you have not mentioned the break keyword. So it is compulsory for you to mention a break keyword in your switch case. Look, now so look, now I have used the break. Look, now when the condition is met, it is giving me only that single statement. Look, yeah, one more example. Exactly, I got 0. As it starts from 1, the case has been started from 1. As there are only 7 days, we have used the cases from 1. Now I got 0. As math random I explained you that day, math random starts from 0.1. If you are making it as an whole number using the int typecasting, so 0.1 is obviously 0. So for 0 we have not given any condition here, right? We have not given any case. So when math random gets me 0, it is not showing me any output here. So even for that we have a keyword as default. This is the default colon, and here we have SYSOUT system, and here we can say whatever we want. So whenever out of 1 to 7, whatever the number we are getting, we might get to know it as it's not listed. Look, now if I run, whenever I get 0, it will be showing as not listed. Look, now I'll be not getting 0 because it gets randomly, right? So for now I'm not getting 0. So 7, I got Saturday. Now if I run again, 1 Sunday. So if I have not given this break keyword before, after showing Sunday, the whatever the value I have fetched, after this without the break, all these statements would have been printed out. So it is always effective, and it is compulsory to use break keyword in the switch statement, so that whenever your condition is met, you are able to get that. Now using the default, I'll show you using the default, this default, how you are able to use it. Now I'll make this statement as I'll remove 5 cases now. So I'll remove the 6. Wait, I will remove except case 2 and case 6 I will remove. Now you have case 1 and case 7. So it is Sunday and Saturday. You already know that Sunday and Saturday are weekend. So what I'll do here is that, so whenever I'll get a case from 2, 3, 4, 5, which is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, these days are weekdays. So I'll make it here. It's a week. No, I'll make this. I'm waiting for weekend. I'll give a statement as I'm waiting for weekend. Waiting for weekends. So that didn't come out right. Waiting for weekends. It's still not coming out right. Yeah, now look here. So whenever the math random is giving me value 1 and 7, it shows Saturday and Sunday. Whenever it's giving the value of remaining cases, which are like the weekdays, it is telling me like waiting for weekends. Look here, when I refresh it, so you got the value like 6. 6 is obviously Friday. So if it is Friday, I'm waiting for the weekend. This is default. Whichever the case is not present there, for that case we are presenting only one thing as this line. It is understood that it is Friday, like 6th day of the week. So I have mentioned only 2 cases. Until I get 1 and 7, whatever the number I'll be getting, that number will be showing this thing. So that is default. You cannot give as case default. It is like you have to mention only default. If you have a case, you have to give case 7. I'll make this as 6. So next time when 6 comes out, right, it shows me as Saturday. Other than 5 days, it gives a different look. 0. For 0, it is showing waiting for weekends. Again, if I refresh, 0, it is showing me for weekend. It is showing for 0 itself. Why? Because I have not added break keyword for the default. You have to add break keyword for everything, even for the default. Now if I run, you will get the correct output. Look, 1, which is like Monday, waiting for the weekends. I'm waiting for the weekends. So whatever the case you get other than 6 and 7, you are getting the only output waiting for weekends. So this is why we will be using default keyword. So I hope you get to know about this switch statement. Anyone having any doubt, I'm ready to explain again, but I should get to know that from you guys. Any doubt, Saraswati and Aishwarya, Asha, Amrut, Mukta? You get to know about switch statement. So we shall now move for the loops. So So first loop is that we have while loop. So anyone having doubt to create package, you can see every time I'm going for a different example, you can see how I'm able to create a new package and how to create a new class there. So these packages and classes, when I start with access modifiers, right, then you will come to know what are the differences about package and classes there. Now, no, not class. I have to create a package. Create a new package for loops. So these are the loops. I'll finish it. So inside the loop, I'll remove all these classes. So here in the loops, I'll create the first example as the while loop. So while loop example. Finish. So when it comes to loops is something that iterates all the elements inside it. Suppose if you have a geometry box and you have compass and you have scales, different set of scales. Yes? Yeah. One ampersand 2. The question was that simple. I need that full question. Well, for yeah, it's like bitwise operators and ampersand operators. For that, for me, I need the question right. If they have used twice operands, like AND operator they have used twice, that means they have assigned the value. Like they have to check. For AND operator, well, that's what I'm unable to understand your question. That's the problem here. If I get to know the, if then means if it is used for assigning both are true, right, then output will be true. There will be also bitwise operators. When ampersand operator used only once, it's known as bitwise operator. I will get bitwise operator. But if they have used it twice, then it is checking for the condition. Either condition should be true. There will be multiple conditions and both should be true. So coming back to here in the while loop, how we are going to use loops. First I will tell you about the loops. Suppose if you have a geometry box, or suppose if you have a basket, you will be having all the fruits inside it. You will be picking one by one. You will just not throw it away like all the fruits on the floor. You will pick it up one by one. So the loops, what they will do is that they will pick each element one by one. So these are called loops, and in loops you will be having three: while loop, do while, and for loops. And in for loop you will be having nested for loop and enhanced for loop and for each loops. For now we will see how while loop works. So for while loop the syntax will be while, and this is the simple syntax of the while loop. So this is how you declare a while loop. So and once again here how we can assign the condition and check the output. First we will be initializing a variable int. So every time you will be seeing I, so I will be giving a, int a is equals to 0. I will give 0 and I will check the condition as a less than 5, and here I will print it out the line like I should get the value of a. So now what I did is that at the first a value is 0, so when I run this a is 0. So when a runs after that, it gets incremented. As I told you that day, pre-increment and post-increment. this gets incremented. So till when it gets incremented is that until this condition matches. Look, the condition is a less than 5. So until a is less than 5, I'm able to pull out all the elements that is less than 5. When a is assigned to 0, it is less than 5, I'm able to get that output. A is equal to 1, a is equal to 2, 3, 4. Until 4, I'll get that output. I'm incrementing using this. So I'll run this program. Look here in the console, you are able to see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the initial value was 0, and my condition was that until it reaches less than 5. 4 is less than 5. If I make this less than or equals to 5, I'm able to get that even 5. Even 5 I'm able to pull out. Look here, these things. So how this condition works? The while condition works is that you have a condition here, a less than or equals to 5. So it prints the a. At first it was 0, so it prints 0 here at the first. Then it has been incremented. So 0 becomes 1. Again it goes inside this condition and checks 1 is equals to or less than 5. It is less than 5. So again it prints, 1 gets printed. Now it is incremented. So 1 becomes 2. Again it goes to check for the condition, is 2 less than 5? Yes. Again it prints the statement, then it increments 3, 4, 5. So until and unless the condition gets met, so until and unless it gets equals to 5, the condition is met here. So this is how while condition works. Once again I'm telling you how to declare while. So this is the syntax. Inside this you have to give the condition. Suppose if you give it to 8, less than 8, and you are asking SYSOUT, you are asking to print a every time until the condition meets, and you are incrementing it. And if you have not incremented it, I'll show the error what you will be getting. So for now I'll remove this while and I'll check this. So I should able to get from 0 to 7. What if I make this 5? I started from 5, so I should be getting 5, 6, 7. I'll run this. Look, 3 elements is pulled out, 5, 6, 7, less than 8. So this is how while loop works. And why you have to increment? You might think that no sir, if the condition is like a is less than 8 and you have given 5, why you have to increment it? If I have not incremented and if I run it, please observe here in the console, it keeps on looping. For every millisecond it keeps on looping. Please observe here. Look here. Look, it keeps on looping. Look here, keeps on counting. It gets looped every time. So I have to stop it. It takes all the memory space. So you have to give increment here. Once if you give increment, it checks accordingly. Like a is not equal, and it prints every time it gets looped. The same value 5 will get looped every time. Countless time it gets looped. So if you increment it, 5 becomes 6 and it will check. And again it will increment, 6 gets 7, again it's increment, 8, the condition was to be less than 8, then it stops, the loop stops. Look now, if I run now, the loop stops. So you have to give this increment. So this is the condition, like this is the basic understanding of a while loop. So even if you in Viva questions or like in your exams, this is like a 3 lines code which will be a basic one. And I'll show the difference between do while. So I'll create a new class for the do while. New class do while example. I'll finish it. So here how the do while condition is that like do, and here will be using while, and you are ending like this. So I'll tell you the difference now. Now this is how do while works. Here you are printing the statement SYSOUT, printing, sorry, first I have to initialize it, int a is equals to 5, and now here I'll ask a less than 10. I have to end it with a semicolon, so I got that error. Look now how do while works is that do first it does the assignment, whatever the print I'm asking, whatever the logic is to be executed, it does first, then it goes to check for condition. So this is the only difference between that while and do while. Now if I run it, it's like the same, you will get the same output. Look here, it gets observe here, it gets looped every time. Look here, it gets looped. Why? Because I have not incremented it. If I increment now, I'll stop this, I'll run the application again. Now if you see, the value was 5, so it prints me 5, then it's get incremented 6, then it's check for the condition, so the 10 here. So until the condition is met, I got the value till 9. So I will tell you the major difference here. What do while does is that it doesn't check condition first. Now suppose if you have to enter a pub, the outside the security will check you with an ID card, that is while loop. First he checks the ID card, then he will allow you inside the pub, that is while loop. Look here, first it checks the condition, then it allows you to go inside, then it allows you to print this. How do while works is that you will get inside the pub. Look here, you will get inside the pub first, then the condition is checked. And if you know here how the logic works is that only at the first time the condition is not checked but it is printed, but only one time do while can do that, because for the second time condition is not met. Look here, if I assign a value here, I'll make it as 1, and if I ask a less than 1, and I will ask this to print the loop. Look here, you are not able to see any output here, right? You are not able to see here any output, right guys? Look here, because condition was checked, like this is like a is equal to 1, 1 is equal to 1, but 1 is not less than 1, right? So you have not got the output here, so he got caught at the doorstep. Here in the do while, if I assign the value as 1, and if I ask a less than 1, and if I run it, look here, can you see the answer here as 1? Are you able to see here? So the difference here is that condition is not checked. The do statement first prints the value. Look, a value is 1, it prints it, then it goes to check the condition, and it gets to know that, oh, the condition is wrong, I have to stop it here. But eventually you got that one output. So at first, without checking the condition, if you need one statement, you can use do while loop. Like if you want something to happen and you want the first guy to be free and the second guy who comes after, suppose you have an offer for the, suppose you have made a film and you have to give 10 tickets away for the, I mean the 1 ticket for the first guy, and the second guy has to pay. For him, he has the condition. At such scenarios, you can use the do while. So if you in lab exams or in the exams, if they ask the example, practically you can show this example, like you got to print out one value, where in the while loop you cannot print anything. Look, if I run this, no value is printed because condition is checked and condition has met. It cannot show the elements looped after 1. Even the 1 cannot be shown. So this is the major difference between while loop and do while loop. It is that in do while, execution is done first, condition is checked later, and that is only for the first value. Look here, only for the first value. Suppose if I make it 10, it keeps on running till 9. Look, 10, because it is less than 1, I have to give 10 here, sorry, let it be 1 here, and the condition is until it meets the 10. Now if I run it, I am able to pull out elements till 9. Look here, till 9. It eventually prints, even if the condition is known or unknown, it prints the first value. Here in the while, it's not the case. First, it has to meet the condition. Now we will go for the third loop, which is like the for loop. And for loop is the major part where we will be dealing with arrays. So here, class name should always start with a capital letter. For loop example. Look here, in the while and do while, you have initialized declared a variable at some place in the line 7 and you have given the condition in the line 12. Here in the case while you have initiated in the line 7 and in the line 11 you have asked the condition, but for loops everything will be in the same line. Initialization, checking condition and increment. For the syntax for loop is this. So this is the syntax for loop, and here inside the parenthesis first we will be writing is the first we will be assigning the value. We will be writing int I is equals to 0. Directly we will be initializing inside this, and the second statement you will be having three statements which is separated by a semicolon. For the second one you will be having the condition less than 5, and the last one you will be adding like increment. So this is the increment. So all the three things have been done inside the single line inside the parenthesis, and here all I am doing is that I am printing out the value I. Now if I run it on my application, look, you are able to see pull out elements from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have given less than 5. If I make this less than or equals to 5, I am able to fetch the fifth element, which is like 6th here. Look, 5. So here the first thing is that is for initialization. You are initializing the value. The second statement is that you are asking the condition where the loop has to be stopped, and every time the loops get executed you are asking what to be done there. Look here, it's not that every time it should be incremented. It can be like I plus 1. It can be whatever you want. You can do that. Suppose now if I do I is equal to I plus 2, I'll do this, not increment. I is equal to I plus 2. Let me see what the output I'm going to get. Look here, I got 0, 2, 4 because I have given the value I plus 2. It's not the increment every time. So what happens here is that I is equals to 0, first time it is printed, then it goes for the condition I should be less than 5, then I plus 2, so 0 becomes 1, 1 plus 1 becomes 2, 1 is equals to 1 plus 1. So like that whatever the condition you are going to add you can do here, but it is always understood that increment, always for better understanding we will always use the increment button. Now if I run, look here, you are able to get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how it works is that first time it takes initialization and it prints out. When the second time it goes, it ignores this statement and it goes to check here. So the condition is like it should be less than or equals to 5. So it was 0, I'm incrementing 1. So 1 gets printed here. So 1 gets printed here. Then again it ignores this and go for here. So I have the value 1 now. It is less than 5. I'll go for the next statement, which is like I have to get incremented 2. 2 gets printed here. Again it's go here. 2 is less than 5. I'll go to the next increment 3. 3 got here 4. So this is the same like while and do while. Instead of having different lines for initialization, increment and condition, everything you will be having in the single line. So this is the for the loops, like whatever you have something inside, you have multiple elements, multiple values. This is how you iterate, like this is how you pull out each of them. And you think like you have 5 and you need your whatever the value you have. Suppose in a basket you have on the top you have fruits, on the bottom you have vegetables, and you want to stop at the fruits. Suppose 3 was of the fruits. All you have to do is that use that if condition and you have to assign the value I is equals to 3. When I is equals to 3 you will be having fruits. So at that time I need it to be stopped, so you'll be using break statement. So at that time the value, look, I have used 1, it is not 1, I have to give I. So when the I value reaches 3 the loop should break. So now you have value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So next time when you run this application, when the value of I gets to 3 the loop will break. It will not get the output till the desired condition. Look here, it has stopped to 2 because when it is 3 it got break. 3 doesn't gets printed here. So this is how you break the loop. So after 3 you have vegetables, so you don't want to pick out the vegetables out of your basket, so you have to stop 3 here. Now suppose you have 3 items in your, like you have at the bottom vegetables, at the middle you have a plastic item, and at the top you have fruits. What you want to do is that you have to take out fruits and vegetables, you have to leave the plastic content which is in your basket to be there itself. How can you do that inside the loop? All you have to change this break statement into continue. So the third item will be the plastic. Okay, so you don't want that plastic to be showed there. So when you use this, if I is equals to 3, it is, if I becomes 3, that is a condition, means I 3 is something plastic. So when the loop iterates, right, you will get the output, but 3 will not be visible here. Look, 0 1 2 4 5, 3 has been escalated there. So this is how you pull out a loop on certain conditions. If you want to continue, like you have to leave it out that element, you can use continue. So 3 is evacuated. So this is how you stop 3 inside your loop. And if you want to stop exactly at 3, you have to make it break, break, so that 4 5 will not be printed out. Look here, 0 1 2. So this how loop works. As I said, in your basket you have fruits and vegetables. If you want to pull out everything, this is the syntax for loop. So it pull outs everything, 0 1 2 3 4 5. So these three fruits will be pulled out, these 2 vegetables, and this plastic container will also be pulled out. And suppose if you want only these fruits to be pulled out, so you know the container, so you are asking the loop, when the container comes the loop should stop. So for that you will be doing like, if I is equals to 3, when you are pulling out I value becomes 3, the loop should break. So when you run with this condition, so you can only pull out fruits. Now it's like the plastic container is for someone else, but you have that inside your basket. So you have to take out vegetables and fruits out of your basket, but you have to leave out the plastic. At that time you have to pull out the plastic first. If I is equals to 3, then you have to give continue. So what it does means, everything will be pulled out, 0 1 2 4 5 is pulled out. Whatever you asked for the plastic container which belongs to others, it is left out. It has only pulled out the elements what you have asked for. So this is about the loops, and this is how you fetch elements out from the loops. Anyone having any doubts here with the loops? Well, these are like the basic things and basic syntaxes to get to know the examples. We will show you with multiple examples going on while building the live applications there. So for now, when someone asks you about for loop, you should say that initialization, declaration, and the condition all will be in a single line. And if you want to have to break the loop, and if you want to continue with the loop, evacuating one single element, we can use if condition and break and continue keywords. So this is for like while loop, do while, and for loop. Hope you guys get to know about the loops today. Like these are all the basic things. Don't be worried like that. Yeah, this is like very simple. There will be a complex examples going on, but at the beginning level, to understand the concepts going on, you should know this syntaxes, like how it works. You should know what for loop is. For that, this example is more than enough. Only thing is that you have to know the syntax, how to declare it, how to assign, how to initiate, and how to increment, how to stop, how to continue, how to break. All these things you should know. Look, it's just 5 lines of code. If you practice once or twice, you will get to know the basic syntax for the for loop. So I think I'll stop today's class for this. Tomorrow I'll start with arrays and how to pull out elements, all elements from the array. As I said, array has multiple values inside it. So I showed how to. Yes, Asha? Yeah, where there, right? Yeah, you said package, right? In the conditional statements. for which if else if or switch statement. So you have to know how to start a project and how to start with a package. Those things you have to know. ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೇನಾದರೂ ಕೇಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೇ ಕೇಳಿ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ನೀವು ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಲಿಪ್ಸ್ನ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಗಿದು ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋರರ್ ಅಂತ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಫೈಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದರೆ ವೆಬ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ವೆಬ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಡೈನಾಮಿಕ್ ವೆಬ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಥರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಡೈನಾಮಿಕ್ ವೆಬ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ನೀವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನೇಮ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಆಶಾ ಕೋರ್ ಲೆಸನ್ಸ್, ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹೆಸರು ಆಶಾ ಕೋರ್ ಲೆಸನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೋರ್ ಜಾವ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನೇಮ್ ನಾನು ಆಶಾ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೊತ್ತಬೇಕು. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ SRC ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ SRC ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಜನರೇಟ್ ವೆಬ್ XML, ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಎಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಡೇಟಾ ಪುಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದ್ರ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಬೂಟು ಮತ್ತು ಹೈಬರ್ನೆಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಅವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ವೆಬ್ XML ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಡಿಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡೋವರೆಗೂ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ನೀವು ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡೈನಾಮಿಕ್ ವೆಬ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಜಾವಾದು. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಜಾವಾ ಆಶಾ ಕೋರ್ ಲೆಸನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ SRC ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ SRC ಫೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ನೀವು n ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು SRC ಮೇನ್ ಜಾವಾ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗು ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ನೇಮ್ ಕೊಡಿ, ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಬೇಡಿ, ಇದು ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆದರೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಗೇನಾದರೂ ಬಿಡಿ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಹೆಸರು. ಬಟ್ ಅದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಹೊಸ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದಾಗ ಹೊಸ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ಸಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮೇನ್, ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ನೀವು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇದನ್ನು ಮೇನ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಈ ಮೇನ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ನಾವು ಏನೇ ಕೋಡ್ ಬರೋದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಜಾವಾ ಫೈಲು, .java ಅಂತ ಬಂದರೆ ಅದು ಜಾವಾ ಫೈಲು, ಇದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನೇಮು. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಲಿಪ್ಸು ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟಾಗಿ ಏನು ಇದು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಜಾವಾ ಫೈಲ್ ನೇಮ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಏನೇ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಜಾವಾ ಕಂಪೈಲರ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎರರ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನೇಮು ಫೈಲ್ ನೇಮು ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದಟ್ ಜಾವಾ ಕಂಪೈಲರ್ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಾಗಿ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ನೀವೇನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎರರ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇಂಟ್ a = 100, ಇದು ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು ಕ್ಯಾರ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪು ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡಿ, ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಡಬಲ್ ಕೋಡ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಎರರ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಕೋಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಲೆಟರೇ ಇರಬೇಕು. ನಾನು A ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು ಬೂಲಿಯನ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪು. ಬೂಲಿಯನ್ಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಟ್ರೂ ಆರ್ ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಟ್ರೂ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ಗೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಡಬಲ್ ಕೋಡ್ಸಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಆಶಾ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಎರರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದೆ, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಬೂಲಿಯನ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಬಟ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ನೇಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಏನಂತ ಕೊಡಲಿ, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು D ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ತೊಗೊಂತು ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಂಟೌಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ system.out.println ಅಂತ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ system.print.out.ln ಅಂತ ಕೊಡೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ಕಟ್ ಇದೆ, SYSOUT ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಬಾರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ನೇಮ್ನ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೀವು 100 ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ 100 ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ. ಸೊ ಇದರೊಳಗಡೆ ನೀವು ಏನೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಕೂಡ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ಸೋಲಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ 100 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಫ್ ನೀವು ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ನೇಮ್ನ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಏನು ಅಸೈನ್ ಏನು ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ, ಆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇವಾಗ ನೇಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಆಶಾ ಅಂತ ಬಂತು. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದಾಯಿತು. ಈ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ಸಲ್ಲೇ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ನ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ನ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಹೊಸ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ SRCಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನ್ಯೂ ಕೊಡಿ, ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಈಗ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಆಪ್ರೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡಿ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಈ ಥರ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅರ್ಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಪ್ರೇಟರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾನಿಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ SRCಲಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ ನನ್ನದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ಗೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ನೀವು ಈ ಥರ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಸ್ಸು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಡೌಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ. ಅದೇನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಸಪೋಸ್ ನೀವು ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು PU ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ PCMB, PCMC, PCME ಅಂತ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಕಾಮನ್ ಯಾವುದಾಗುತ್ತೆ, PCM ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸು, ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಮತ್ತು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಈ 3 ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ C ಮತ್ತು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸು, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಈ 3 ಕಾಮನ್ನು ನೀವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ನೆಗೋಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜು PCMB ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜು PCME ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸು. ಸೊ ಇದೆರಡು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕಂಪೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, 2 ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಲ್ಲಿರೋ 2 ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಇಂಟರ್ಮೀಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಫ್ಯೂಚರಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ನಿನಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಸೆಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಗಿನರ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ. ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದರ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಆಶಾ ಅವರೇ? ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, ಇದು ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಫೈಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಫೈಯರ್ಸು. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕೀವರ್ಡಿಂದನೇ ನಾವು ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಿಂದ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜು ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಂದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದಾಗೋದು. ಇದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇದೆ, ನೀವು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇದು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಂದ ಆಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಇದು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಏನು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ನ ನಾವು ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ನ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟು ಪಕ್ಕದ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೂ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ತನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ನೀವು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಡೀ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಇದನ್ನು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಲು ಅದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಅವನು ಆ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ಗಾದರೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಮಿಟ್ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವನು ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೂ ಹೋಗೋ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನು. ಸಪೋಸ್ ನಾನಿಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಕು ಏನೂ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟಾಗಿ ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಾನು ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟಾಗಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸು ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಬೇರೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸು, PCMB ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನಲ್ಲ, ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತಾ, ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಥರ ಸಪೋಸ್ ನಾನಿಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವ್ನು ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ 2 ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲೇ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ಸೆಷನ್ ಸಾಕು ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಲೂಪ್ಸಲ್ಲಾಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಾಗಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು, ಯಾವೊಂದು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸು. ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈಸಿ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಈಸಿನೇ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಷ್ಟು ಈ ಈಸಿನೆಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಈ ಈಸಿ ಸಿಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿಬಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಈಸಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಿಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ನ. ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎರರ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಸಿಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹೀಗಿದೆ, ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಥರ ನಾನು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಕಲಿಬೋದು ಜಾವಾನ ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಏನು ಡೌಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಕೊತೀನಿ. ನಾಳೆ ಸೆಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೀಟ್ ಆಗೋಣ. ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಬಾಯ್ ಗೈಸ್.